Welcome to this episode of Global Women's Movements, Fragmentation and Empowerment. Today, we'll explore the evolving landscape of women's movements over the past 3 decades and uncover how fragmentation has shaped the journey. Is it a challenge that weakens collective power, an opportunity that fuels progress to the gender equality and justice, or perhaps a combination of both? Let's jump right in and find out. The transnational women's movement has grappled with concerns regarding inclusion, difference, and diversity ever since its inception. While the emergence of transnational feminist networks during the 1970s and 1980s, which opposed a rigid hierarchical structure, offered greater potential for bridging ideological gaps in pursuit of a common struggle against women's oppression, this idealized vision of global sisterhood had never materialized in practice. Networks are inherently tainted with conflicts, particularly due to the divergent agendas of feminists in the North and South, which threaten to rip the movement apart. Therefore, the notion of organizational fragmentation accurately characterizes the transnational feminist movement throughout its history. But what does this fragmentation mean for women's political empowerment? Fragmentation refers to the division of a social movement into multiple organizations, each with its own goals and priorities. While this fragmentation has the potential to weaken collective strength, it also opens the door to more personalized advocacy strategies. Does fragmentation strengthen women's political empowerment by increasing adaptability and reach? Or does it weaken the movement by creating internal divisions, resource competition, and vulnerability? But before we find out, let's turn to the concept of empowerment. Empowerment is the process of enabling women to make choices, exercise agency, and participate fully in decision-making. It includes achieving women's equality with men in civil liberties, civic engagement, and political representation. Fragmentation can be a catalyst for empowerment in 3 ways. 1. It allows organizations to focus on local strategies adapted to specific cultural and societal contexts. 2. It promotes specialized advocacy in areas such as gender quotas or reproductive rights. 3. It enables stronger grassroots mobilization by engaging diverse communities. Fragmentation empowers women's movements by enabling them to address local needs while staying connected to global goals. For instance, gender equality campaigns can be adapted to resonate with unique cultural contexts, which ensures both greater acceptance and a more significant impact. Moreover, smaller, fragmented groups can specialize in specific issues, such as combating gender-based violence or advancing political representation, and this focused expertise helps drive meaningful policy changes and reforms. In addition, transnational organizations play a crucial role by amplifying global norms, like the principles enshrined in the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, while adapting them to fit local realities. This alignment not only strengthens grassroots movements but also bridges the gap between international advocacy and on-the-ground activism. Furthermore, fragmentation fosters a bottom-up approach by empowering localized groups to connect directly with communities. As a result, activism becomes more relatable and impactful, and grassroots mobilization gains the momentum needed to drive sustainable and lasting change. Together, these dynamics show how fragmentation, when effectively managed, can be a powerful force for progress. While fragmentation has its benefits, it also comes with significant challenges. 1. Internal divisions weaken the movement's unity. 2. Competition for resources creates inefficiencies. 3. Vulnerability to government manipulation and repression. Internal divisions often arise from conflicting priorities among fragmented groups, which can create confusion and weaken the movement's ability to present a cohesive vision. This lack of unity not only undermines collective advocacy, but also hinders effective negotiations with policymakers, reducing the chances of achieving impactful outcomes. Additionally, fragmentation intensifies competition for resources, including funding, media attention, and influence. This resource scarcity disproportionately marginalizes smaller organizations, especially those focused on holistic, long-term goals. As a result, movements often shift their attention to short-term priorities to secure survival, which reduces overall efficiency and limits opportunities for meaningful collaboration. Moreover, fragmented movements are more vulnerable to external threats, including government repression and manipulation. Governments frequently co-opt smaller factions by offering resources or recognition, which creates divisions within the movement. These fragmented groups also become easier targets for suppression, as authorities can isolate and weaken individual factions rather than addressing the movement as a whole. Additionally, elites may impose technocratic solutions that superficially address issues but fail to tackle the structural roots of inequality, ultimately undermining grassroots activism. Together, these challenges illustrate the risks associated with fragmentation and the importance of strategies to mitigate its negative impacts. Recent research across 154 countries shows that the effects of fragmentation differ globally. In the global north, movements are more cohesive but may struggle to achieve significant impacts. In the global south, fragmented movements thrive by adapting international norms to local needs, driving empowerment despite resource constraints. Fragmentation generally enhances women's political empowerment. Its positive effects are stronger in the global south, where grassroots activism aligns with international support. To address the fragmentation challenges and maximize impact, movements must balance diversity with unity to avoid weakening their collective voice. Secure sustainable funding for long-term, transformative goals. Resist manipulation or suppression by political elites. Overall, fragmentation is a double-edged sword. While it introduces challenges like division, resource competition, and vulnerability, it also fosters diversity, adaptability, and reach, essential drivers of political empowerment. The global women's movement demonstrates that true power often lies in diversity and adaptability. While fragmentation may seem like a weakness, it holds the potential to foster innovation, inclusivity, and resilience. When managed effectively, the diversity of voices, perspectives, and strategies within fragmented movements can amplify their reach and impact. Instead of being a barrier, fragmentation can transform into a dynamic strength, driving progress and unity in the ongoing fight for equality, justice, and a more equitable world. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the complexities of global women's movements and the power of fragmentation. If you found this insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on more stories that inspire change. Together, let's continue the conversation and work toward a world where equality and justice prevail. See you next time.